Hello, I hope you had a lovely half term and you enjoyed this glorious sunshine that we've been blessed with. We've got the next episode of the Book of Hopes. It's number 7. Our first story today will be read by Mrs. Coleman and it's called I Can Read Your Mind and it's written by Danny Wallace.
I Can Read Your Mind. Hey, did you know that even though this is a book and I can't see you, I can read your mind? Did you? No, you didn't. Do you know how I knew that? Because I can read your mind. I am a skilled mind reader, and this is the first mind reading book. I am such a skilled mind reader, in fact, that I know exactly what you are thinking right this very second. Do you know what you're thinking right this very second? Well, obviously you do. If you didn't, it'd be weird. If you didn't, you would have roughly the intelligence of a courgette and not one of the smarter ones. But listen, courgette face, do you want me to tell you what you're thinking when I tell you I'm actually a very skilled mind reader? You're thinking, no, you're not. Am I right? Am I? Of course I'm right, because I am a very skilled mind reader. Now, let's make things interesting. Think about the very worst thing you ever did. Go on. Think about the time you tripped up a nun, or ate your cat's food, or called a badger a very rude name indeed. Think of it now. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. Oh my gosh, you are a terrible human being. Oh my gosh, why would you think of that when you knew I would know? Does anyone else know you did that? Do your parents? Well, whatever you do, don't tell them what you did, or they'll sell you on eBay, swap you for something better behaved like a burglar. In fact, let's pretend that never happened. Try and think of nothing at all. I want you to completely blank your mind. Wow, that was quick. Not a lot going on up there, eh? Well, now I want you to breathe deeply. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just relax. And now close your eyes. Hello? Hello, why aren't you reading? Hello? Oh, I know what's happened. Hey, open your eyes. Open your eyes again and keep reading. Hello? Open your eyes. Well, that's great. You can't read that, so you've just kept your eyes shut. I mean, what am I supposed to do now? Just wait for you to come back? Hang on. I know. I'll read your mind again. What do you mean you think I've got all the intelligence of a courgette? I'm off. So just read the next piece in this book and I'll try not to tell anyone you once tripped a nun and love eating cat food.
Our next story, written by Ross Mackenzie, is The Hideout and it is read by Mrs. Brennan.
The Hideout. You're going to chicken out. Myla shot her big brother a venomous look. I am not going to chicken out. Yeah, then what's the hold-up? She surveyed the garden, a thick jungle of grass and thorns, and wished that she was back in her old house, back home. A dare's a dare, Myla. Either you go inside the haunted shed, or you do my chores for a week. I know I'm going. Myla buttoned her coat and set off all alone. Her heart raced as she pushed between wet stalks of grass. Along the way she discovered a small pond, some giant rhubarb and an empty bird's nest. Then at last she entered the deep shade beneath the chestnut trees, kicked away a wall of nettles, and stood before the haunted shed. All was silent and still. Gathering her bravery, Myla clutched the handle and opened the creaking door. The workshop was dark and cobwebbed and smelled of damp. Long-forgotten pots of paints lay scattered across the filthy floor. And there in the corner sat a scruffy boy. He had a book on his lap. Myla blinked. "What are you doing?" The boy looked up from his book. "What's it look like? Shut the door, will you? I'm at a good bit." Myla hesitated. "You're not a ghost, are you?" "Of course not," he snorted. Myla folded her arms. "You're not supposed to be here." "Who are you? The reading police?" "Nope, but this is my garden. We've just moved house." The boy's eyes grew wide. "Oh, please don't tell." "What are you reading?" The Witches." "Oh, that's a good one. Have you got to the bit with... Don't spoil it." A pause. "What's your name?" "Myla. What's yours?" "Gabe." "How come you aren't reading at home?" He shrugged. "Too noisy. I used to have a great spot near the river, but Ben Foley and his gang nicked it." Are you going to tell?" Myla considered this. "Nah. Do you have any more books?" Gabe reached down and produced a bulging rucksack. "Just a few." "Budge up," said Myla. She sat beside him, picked out Peter Pan and began to read. "I'd better get back." She offered the book, but Gabe didn't take it. "Keep it." "Really?" "Yeah. Hey, would you like to be in my reading club?" "You have a club? Cool. Who else is in it?" Just me, so far." He blushed. It's okay if you don't." No. When do you want to meet next?" she said. He looked surprised and happy. "Tomorrow? Same time?" "Deal." Myla hummed happily as she chopped back through the garden. How strange it was that she'd set off on a ghost hunt and instead had found a friend. Of course, she'd still tell her brother that she'd seen a ghost. He wouldn't have the guts to check for himself. She reached the house and looked back down the garden and smiled. Maybe living here wasn't going to be too bad after all.
And finally, we have Coach Alex, who will be reading Football Boots by Peter Bunzel.
Football boots. The boots had plastic studs on that raised me off the ground. On the tiles, in the changing room, they made a clacking sound. Out on the playing field, they grasped turf in their grip, but when I crossed the tarmac, they always made me slip. I wore the boots for football every Monday week, in rain and snow and sunshine, in fog and hail and sleet. I teetered as I ran along, through grass and clag and mud, and kept my eye out for the ball, which landed with a thud. 11 boys tore at me then, churning up the field, and the coachy screamed, "Just kick it, son. You boy, make the steal. Heads up, you lazy lemons. Make a blimmin' wall. Pass the thing, mark your man, eyes on the ball." My boots would get all muddy as we ran around and round, and when the game was over, we had to scrape them down. And when that task was finished, we went inside to change, and as I put my boots away, we'd talk about the game. Some sterling play, the coach would say. "You lads done me proud. Get showered now, and quiet boys, it's getting far too loud."